Hey everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Boku no Hero Academia chapters 381 onward. And I'll try to do at least like 4 or 5. It depends on how much I discuss the series, because I feel like it doesn't actually take that long to read Hero Academia chapters. It's more about how long I discuss things. As of recording this, there are 408 chapters out, so this series still has at least another 30 to go, which I thought seemed a little bit weird at first, but I've been saying that for dozens of chapters probably, where I'm like, it feels like we're towards the end, aren't we? But I still think there's a bit to go. We still need to see how the stuff concludes with Present Mike and Aizawa and Shirakumo slash Kurogiri. We still have to see how that goes. We last time just had the Shiketsu students showing up to help against real, I've been saying Benjamin Button all for one. We've got Izuku facing off against Shigaraki, and we've hit that part where that part of the story is the least interesting to me. The Izuku and Shigaraki stuff. I think character-wise, Shigaraki's very, very interesting. But we've hit that point that I feel like every long-running shonen hits towards the end, where the main character basically has god powers, and it's like, okay, that's kind of a snooze fest. He's basically anime Jesus at this point, just like Naruto, etc., etc. So it's like, Izuku interests me not so much as other characters anymore at this point. But there's still a lot to go on there, I would assume, because there are other characters who still haven't done stuff. And that's something generally with this final arc, all of the sort of, I wouldn't say every character, but all of the key characters, especially the Class 1A characters, have been getting moments. And there are some Class 1A characters that haven't gotten moments yet, so I still think we'll carry on. Like, if we got time to give big moments to Jiro and Tokoyami earlier on. Shoto is always like a really huge one. If we give big moments to all of those characters, we recently did for some others, then I think we're going to still have a few more to go. Like Shoji and Koda's moments, I still think we have more to go from other characters. We still have to finish off the stuff with Toga and with Tsuyu and Uraraka. And honestly, though, Uraraka, at least from like a fan's perspective, because of the liking Izuku stuff, though she has the closer connection to Toga in that way, I really wouldn't mind it being a 2-on-1 to give Tsuyu more to do, especially given that when Toga was first introduced, it was her against the two of them 2-on-1. So I'd be totally cool with that. But yeah, tons more to go in that sense. So either way, let's just get to reading and we can talk about it as we go. Also, last time we had Gentle and Labrava getting to have their moments, which I have been waiting for a long, long time, and I'm very happy with that. That's one of my favorite things that's happened in this arc. So either way, let's just start reading 381 for now. And again, I probably shouldn't have to explain it, but sorry I can't put anything on screen while I'm reading Hero Academia because Shueisha is crazy about that kind of stuff. So we're starting off with our reintroductions to the Shiketsu students, Keimi Utsushimi, Seiji Shishikura, and Inasa Yoarashi. Keimi says, "Is that all for one? I thought he didn't, like, have a face. I'd like nothing more than to kill him and avenge my father, but alas." Okay, so random Shishikura backstory out of nowhere. "Nope, I can't give in to spite and hatred. That'd be giving the big bad what he wants." "Indeed. As a prison guard my dad set out to protect, I shall take up his mantle." Okay, so the prison guard guy that had similar, like, outfits was Shishikura's father. We're hearing that Shigaraki and Deku have left the cage. Shishikura's hero name, it says. We've got alums here too. Whatever it takes, we gotta put a lid on this chaos. And we're seeing Ryuko or Pixie Bob. And is that Tokoyami falling towards her? "Before it's too late, Toga needs to be subdued. While we also pepper all for one with every ranged attack we've got." And we just have this huge span of attacks going on from all the different characters. And we're seeing the Benjamin Button all for one again. "You hanging in there, Hawks." Oh, Tsukauchi being brought up. "Oh, Tsukauchi, yeah, your backup came in the nick of time. Saved my life. Actually, they were on the move before we submitted the request. Anyhow, we've heard how All for One has his old body back. so keeping him there at Gunga could decide this whole war. Stop him from getting away, by any means necessary. I can only steal a quirk by touching the true body. Okay, so that's what he was trying to do by touching the twice copy. Initially, they were mindful of the risks that accompanied challenging me with a large force. Or maybe he was still just touching the same one from when he thought he was killing Hawks. But I thought it was odd how we had the long-distance shot of him holding on to the one. Unless he's also using it to block projectiles, which may be that too. No more holding back then. Tossing aside all precaution to bring me down? Very well. And he smiles and summons up this huge burst of energy. We have all the characters being blown away. We see Kinoko in there. Kamui Woods as well. Kamui Woods is a character that we had from what? Chapter 1, right? And really didn't get to do all that much. He's starting to combine even more quirks at once. Though still on your feet, don't let up. Stand strong, defenders. Alright. Looks like he's been stopped in place. Keep up those attacks. So late in the game, you still think you'll somehow emerge from this. Even without the one man who can stand up to me? That's not bravery. You're just ignorant of my golden age. And we're seeing Dabi and Endeavor. And then seeing Jiro and Uraraka. As the generation that, from a young age, witnessed All Might's rise, and the next that only ever knew a world where he reigned supreme, ignorant of the era when all trembled in fear, of something imperceptible lurking unseen in the dark, when all were tainted by suspicion, resentment, exploitation, and prejudice, during my golden dark age. And then, now we know about all that stuff. We have the wind coming in against him. I mean, never heard of you, but they teach us that junk in contemporary history class. And me, I decided to keep watching my pal Todoroki and his dad, to root for them. That hot-blooded passion's gonna beat out fear to win the day. And now we have the fingers coming in around him as Hawk's watching on. Embed ranged attacks within the cage of wind. Time to steal a few, perhaps. And then he sends out the I don't really know what to call these. He's used them like claw tentacle things, the black and red like quirk stealing or quirk activation things that he's used since the beginning when he first showed up. Inasa, keep up that windstorm while blowing those toga doubles into the air. You got it. My quirk's even stronger than when the weather's real blustery to start with. And of course the weather's all messed up because of all of the flame users we learned before. Forget you and your ancient glory days. What I want to see is a future built by the guys I'm cheering on. Endeavor? No progress. I disagree. We're seeing it here. One for all's a power that links people's hearts. It's not just one for all. You've done your job paying it forward too. I can't stand that look in their eyes. Looking past me, having lost none of that light. Well, no, the light has gone out. Yet they stoke the flames, like heaping kindling onto the fire. You dare not approach, for fear of losing your quirks to me. Enough nonsense. Come and meet your fate. And then, oh? Is this a copy of himself, or it looks kind of like Dark Shadow's eyes? Maybe? Yeah, it is. This sensation. An attack I needed to dodge at all costs. That explains. Even darkness comes in a range of shades. So you don't get to speak of the dark. I love this. That muddy, dismal darkness you brought about. We've already devoured it whole. And we see this full unleashed Dark Shadow, similar to back at the training camp. Those sudden storm clouds that shrouded us all from the light of day extended the time limit on my power. As for the flames, they shrunk as the windstorm tore up the trees roots and all. Please envelop me with your earth, so that I might amass darkness. Okay, that's why he went to Pixie Bob. All Might told me that you could not steal Endeavor's quirk, simply by grasping his flames. This is why I was chosen to support Hawk's endeavor. Dark Shadow, total release, and again, I thought Tokoyami had kind of already had his moments, but Tokoyami getting to be even cooler. He started prepping for this the second Shiketsu showed up to help. Crush him, and we have Hawk screaming, Tokoyami. Here's a tailwind for a boost. And then Inasa helps even though he's been injured. If I was able to pay it forward to you, even a little, then dirtying these wings was well worth it. And then Abyssal Black Body, Light of Balder. And he crushes him. Man, so cool having Tokoyami have another huge moment like this. I feel like Tokoyami's gotten more than most characters in the series. So cool. I really appreciate that. And I was thinking too, getting more like Endeavor stuff, something else that I thought about like in the intro and everything is there may still be character deaths to come. I don't know if any of the young characters are going to die. Hero Academia doesn't really kill people that often. I think the big two that have just had so many death flags that it's like, are they not, is All Might if he shows up and tries to have like one last go at it. And like I said before, if Eddie can rewind people, then can't she just rewind All Might? That might be a little bit of a plot hole, or maybe they'll have to think of a reason. Oh, he passed it on, so that doesn't work. They'll have to think of some sort of reason why that doesn't work. Because there's that. It's either him or Endeavor is the one that made me think about it. But honestly, I'd be cool if neither die. If both die, if the story's good, I'm cool with it. For me, though, it's like, comparing Endeavor and Shoto, I am much more invested in Endeavor and his character and his story than I am for Shoto right now. I like Shoto. I really like him. He's up there for me as far as characters go. But to me, Endeavor is just been like the character, other than like, again, Izuku or All Might, who have gotten tons of attention, tons of development. Endeavor's like the character that's gotten that attention and development. And Bakugo too, I guess. He could go up there, kind of a Mount Rushmore. So yeah, either way, gonna read the next one. Gonna read 382 now. And it seems like we're starting it in what looks like a flashback. In that moment, these two men came to realizations. He gave that femme fatale just the tools she needed to bring ruin to all. And then, liar. Number 382, don't let him go. That the situation was not as optimal or as disastrous as it could have been. Okay, this is an interesting realization. Yeah, somebody who thought, oh yeah, there's no problem, we've already won, you think you're getting out of this okay, is realizing, you know, it might be a good situation for me, but not as optimal as I thought. And the other realizing that, yeah, though things are really bad with All for One and all of the Twice copies around, it's not quite as disastrous as it could be. There's still like a chance here. And then we're cutting over to Shigaraki, it looks like. And then he places his hand to the ground, and we see a bunch of upturned earth, it seems like. This may be wishful thinking, but as bad as things are, they could be worse, says Tsuyu. Tsuyu saying it out loud. If her first move had been to transform into All for One, or Dabi, and to make doubles of them, we'd have been doomed. But that's not how it played out. Our only hope of victory is the reason behind that. We know that clones clones created by the original Twice's doubled quirk could use their own quirks, but based on what you learned, Aravity, when Himiko transforms, she can only use that person's quirk if she loves them. Some sort of compatibility issue, maybe. Either way, it seems like Himiko's own restriction applies to the double she creates after transforming into Twice. If so, we can assume her love doesn't extend to Shigaraki and those others, and that's why she can't use their quirks. Or it could be the thing of like, she could transform into them and use their quirk, but she couldn't make copies. Like, she can only use Twice's quirk when transformed into Twice, but not other people's. So if she turned herself into Dabi, or All for One, or Shigaraki, she could only use theirs, and then wouldn't have the overwhelming numbers advantage of being able to use Twice's. I think it might also just be a you can only do one at a time type of thing. I may be off the mark, but In an extreme situation like this, a single emotion could override that restriction at any second. That's why it's imperative that we track down the original Himiko quickly. If that's all true, what might give her away? Why, we'll make sure that Dead Man's parade keeps marching. All heroes must die. I love Tomura and Toya, but unlike Jin and Ochako, their quirks aren't working for me. All heroes must die. Even though I love them to bits, even though that love should be there, even when I tested it before the big battle, nothing, okay, sorry, I read that kind of backwards. Even though Jin's quirk works for me. Again, I would think that she could probably only use, like, I would think that if she's transforming herself into Jin and using, like, twice or double or whatever the quirk was called, then she wouldn't then be able to transform all the twices into a bunch of Dabies. Like, that just doesn't make much sense to me. I would think it would only be one at a time. And then, why can't I become Jin? Oh? And then she's just repeating it to herself. She's always loved seeing happy people. So of course, she zeroed in on her tears. Man, this is such a really cool, huge panel where we see the destruction going on with the full dark shadow in the background. And then she found the one twice that was crying. Keep it up, Tsukuyomi. Pin him down and run out the clock. He's probably invincible right now, but time's not on his side. We've got Endeavor to thank for thrashing him once already. Now let's put a stop to him here. Provide Dark Shadow with cover. Block the light. Fuel his darkness. And we have Kyoka yelling out. For realsies, how about an Aurora Night Sky from my glamour quirk, KK? We gotta stop Toga from making more of herself. I'm here to support everyone from every angle. And then we have this huge crashing explosion. And Dark Shadow being blown back. Obnoxious as ever. Bruisers who impose with brute force. And then it looks like he's getting even younger. Because of the Benjamin buttoning. He's even younger now. And then it seems like the black threads from him are tearing through the ground as he jumps away. We need darkness. Not so fast, you. Here's a gale to boost you towards him. He ain't getting away. These two men came to realizations that the situation was actually... And then we see Gigantomachia, which has to be the final fight for Kirishima, because Kirishima is a character who also had a lot of attention and a lot of moments before this final arc, but I don't think we've even seen him in the final arc yet. So I feel like him, especially if he gets to team up with Mina, who really hasn't gotten any moments, and we get like Mina finally getting a big moment and teaming up with Kirishima to take down Gigantomachia, that would be the biggest thing for me. Flatten them, Machia. Perfectly optimal. That the situation was not quite the disaster it looks like, right, Tsukauchi? And then, what? How? It's you pests. Oh? Sorry, I'm just taking this in again. Okay. Yo, Tokiyami, we're here too. Oh, this is so interesting. So he threw like a chunk of earth, apparently, at All for One. And it's because he's being controlled, because we see Shinso is up there. So he's being brainwashed. It's you pests. Yo, Tokiyami, we're here too. And we see a bloody Kirishima. And then Shinso, presumably using brainwashing on Gigantomachia. Which is like, actually genius. Until or unless it breaks off, which is bad news. Okay, so I wonder if we're going to flash back to see how they got into this position. And that's going to be the thing. Okay, there are a lot of really interesting twists that the final arc keeps throwing at us. At least, again, I'm assuming it's the final arc. Like, that's the thing. I'm just assuming it's not about if Izuku beats Shigaraki, if the good guys win here. It's about how and how many of them suffer losses, whether it's permanent injuries or even death from it. Because at this point, I don't imagine this arc ending and then us being like, oh yeah, time for the next arc. Oh, and the next arc after that. I don't see that one happening. But I'm excited to see if we get more Kirishima in the next ones. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to read. Okay, and the first panel is actually Mina. We have number 383, Meek Spirits. So yeah, we're just starting off with a Mina panel. After word spread about Todoroki taking down Dabi, Giganto Makia's containment facility, Chaku Hospital ruins. Oh, come on, right when things were on the up and up, we see Minetta's there. My softening quirk is useless against people floating in the air. Okay, and we have Honanuki there as well. And that's one of the guys that we never really learned who they were, right? From the Liberation Army. Yeah. I really hate that we didn't actually develop the Liberation Army side characters, because I think it would have been so good if the series lasted a little bit longer, if back when we were doing the Liberation War stuff, if we had actually given just a teeny bit of attention, just a teeny bit of time, even just giving names to the Liberation Army, like, sub-commanders, because then they could serve as, like, final fights for all of the side characters. Like, we could get a Mineta, this guy final fight, which we might get anyway. But my point being that, like, all of these characters could have been used to give final individual fights to a lot of the characters like Sato, who don't have an obvious real final fight. But it would be nice to just give them something. This plan will come to fruition thanks to our quirks, an ultra-high frequency emitter. We had this sneak attack all set up. Why are they here ready for us? Your pathetic defensive efforts won't hinder our plot at all. These high-frequency sound waves mimic All for One's voice, so no matter how solid those restraints are, the voice will pierce every wall, and get picked up by the superior hearing of Makia's dog quirk. And then, we can't let them wake up Giganto Makia, and this is where Mount Lady is. He must not wake up. Help me out, rule, big, and then the hero name of Kodai. And she makes a giant wrench for Mount Lady to use. The big guy, from the standpoint of ordinary people. And then he crashes out of the building, embodies pure psychological scarring, and Mina looks on. The escort mission's done. In the chaos of the plan to divide and conquer, we warped Shinso to this location and kept him hidden away from the battlefield, all without the villains catching on. It was a backup plan, in case push came to shove. Okay, so he's the backup if Giganto Makia escapes, to use him. Shinso, Makia needs a dose of brainwashing. Oops, you spotted me. And then, what on earth? Makia waking up means we win, yeah? So why risk my neck in some stupid battle? The only heroes left these days have got serious guts, so I thought I'd pretend to fight a little and then sneak away. Is this the slime guy from the series' start? I gotta say, this pushover makes a way better hiding spot than that plucky middle school kid. It is! Again, the twist's coming. I did not see this guy showing up. The weak are meant to suffer and submit. It's the law of the jungle. Might makes right. The authority of the strong is self-justified. Where is Master? And he's knocking away Mount Lady. Today marks the advent of the Liberation Era. Max power. Acid Man, Alma. And Mina attacks Giganto Makia. Acid, with enough strength and volume to melt Makia's body. Careful, kid, that much will take a lot out of you. I couldn't pull this off last time, and so many people died. All that carnage and destruction. I had Bakugo and Todoroki fill me in on their special training method, because I can't stand it anymore. Failing to protect what I care about isn't cool by me. And then, Acid, taking advantage of my fluid body to coat my innards with the stuff. And she's attacking him as well, to free Shinso. Nope, can't get mixed up with Acid, and he leaves Shinso's body. Wait, fat chance, idiot, I'm sticking with the winners. Thanks, you two. Ashido, Shoji never had revenge on his mind. And yeah, I loved Midnight Sensei's classes. I know all about fear, 'cause I'm weak. That weakness makes me want to form packs and get close with people. and we see all of these flashbacks to her. That goes for our side, and your side too. That's what defines us, right? We're one and the same. Rat and shout all you like, and the guy's thinking back about Rudestro. Your cries fall flat, because there's because there's no stopping him. And he's going for another claw strike on, Mount Lady. Makia, Master? Oh, and he responds back to Shinso because he was copying his master's voice. Fall flat. No, that's why I learned what I had to from Aizawa-sensei. Attack those in the air. And he takes out the Liberation Army people. I used my persona chords to recreate All for One's voice, based on recordings from Tartarus. Now that he's responded, and again, that makes it just All for One was so cocky, thinking he was untouchable, talking all the shit in Tartarus, and now that's come back to haunt him, because they were able to use his voice because of that. So I'm not even competing with their frequency emitter. Alright? Whoa there, Ashido, you must be majorly dehydrated. I'm seriously sorry I've been such a letdown. There. Paid you back. Come on, you never owed me a thing. Don't you get it? You've always been my hero, you jerk. We've stopped them from reclaiming Makia. Now round up the escaped convicts and PLF members for transport. Okay, this is cool though, because like I had mentioned before, it seemed like all the characters kept converging together. So if the two of them, we didn't see Ashido, but if the two of them rode along on Gigantomachia, then they could show up where everybody else is, and again, it's just more and more of the characters converging together. And then we have now round up the escape convicts and PLF members for transport, and we're seeing Mount Lady. All for one. Really? Later. This is a massive gamble. We've just barely kept this thread of hope intact. Okay, it's Sakauchi planning, so it had better not snap now. Send everything we've got at him. Okay, and we see All for One trying to fend off all these attacks from Mount Lady. Yeah, we have Mount Lady, we have Gigantomachia, we have Dark Shadow, and Yoarashi sending the wind. And then, I'm not sure if that's a person, or I think it's just a chunk of land being blown apart that was thrown by Makia. And now we have helicopters as well, to like, just give us a hint at the end. That was a really good chapter. Again, I like how what I've mentioned is coming to pass, where the characters are just like converging together more and more and more. And these chapters were actually kind of fairly long. We're actually kind of dense for Hero Academia chapters. So I think I might only be able to do one more. I said I wanted to do 4 or 5 though. So let me do one more. I want to do at least one more. I'll try to end the video with this one. We're seeing Gigantomachia at the start. How dauntless. Shinso's brainwashing quirk must be spurring on the giant's onslaught, hence calling this a gamble. Mount Lady's providing the best support she can, but... And then we have him still doing pretty alright, given that he's, you know, All for One and all. This explains how the Aoyama family deceived me, all courtesy of a manipulation quirk. Hitoshi Shinso's brainwashing is undone by even a mild impact. That is my modus operandi. And once undone, Kirishima, he'll steal back control. Oh, so is Kirishima going to be the shield to prevent All for One from undoing the brainwashing? Your form changed, but I know you by your scent. Long have I searched for you. All for One, my master. Oh no, they're yelling Kirishima. I thought they were yelling for Kirishima to do something. And then... Why, oh why, did you leave me behind? Forcing a target to speak? Like when we split up the villains. No, the brainwashing wasn't reapplied after that bombardment. Then, what's going on here? Is Gigantomachia just... Hold on, did the brainwashing break, but he's just actually going to betray All for One? My precious, lovable Makia, I will soon hide myself away, but know this, my successor will seek you out. And it's interesting... We still don't quite know the person, I don't think we do at least, the person who was working for All for One back, like in the past when we saw the flashback that stopped his brother from attacking. I assumed that was Gigantomachia before being transformed by all the quirks put in. And it might be. We might learn that now. that it is Gigantomachia, or that could still be somebody else. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'm just misremembering something. My greatest regret is that I won't get to pamper and spoil you anymore. On that day, my replacement master had your scent and your voice. I could tell I would know you anywhere, all for one. After I kept the faith and waited for you for so long, you abandoned me and ran away. Only Midoriya and this guy have ever put up a fight against my brainwashing. Oh, so he's like actually breaking through it. And we're seeing Kirishima did block the attack. That delirious muttering while he was brainwashed. And Kirishima actually just protected Shinso. That delirious muttering while he was brainwashed, expressing his deep-seated anger over being betrayed. That's why I'm just along for the ride with his unbridled rage, as a safety feature. I'm often told that my ability seems villainous. This is very interesting. So yeah, even before getting hit, he was kind of acting on his own. Shinso's there and like trying to hold on to the brainwashing somewhat, but he, just like Izuku in the past, is fighting against it on his own. But my quirk can't actually control a person's heart. Looks to me like nobody's on board with your grand tale, buddy. Yeah, like before, where he couldn't make Izuku just say, I give up or whatever. He had to use his brainwashing to like make him walk out of bounds. So this is like actually Gigantomachia. And then we see Gigantomachia, Mount Lady, and Tokoyami coming in with Dark Shadow. Keep him pinned down until he vanishes. Because yeah, again, eventually, if he's permanently stuck reversing, then eventually he just Benjamin Buttons out of existence, right? We definitely don't want to interfere with the actual battle. Yeah, I brought our snazziest camera, so we've even got a clear view from outside the combat zone. Asking for a chopper in this storm? You sure your head's screwed on right? I could ask you the same thing. We've just got this primordial urge to show the story playing out. And we're getting a backstory for the news crew people? Hey, check this out. When I heard that the guy wrapped in rags was actually a UA student, well, I review my old work a lot, so I remembered him. The same one who a year ago, and we see the gentle stuff, was shaking in his boots before the sports festival, and now look at him. And then she's holding back her tears. We have gentle swashbuckling channel of daring do, and we have the gentle stuff going on the live stream that La Brava had going. And now we cut back to Izuku, matching with Shigaraki. Guess we're not the only ones who felt like we couldn't sit around doing nothing. But what kind of idiot sends a chopper out in a storm? I apologize for asking you to tag along. Nobody forced me to do a damn thing. Okay? I don't remember who this is. Oh, I guess they were from the conference that they held when Bakugo was kidnapped? I can't even call this journalism. It's more like I'm addressing a private grievance. They're really bringing in every character, even ones that I really didn't even recall. It's basically a personal matter. Hey, the station's closed down and we ain't getting paid anyhow. Excuse me if this is My Hero Academia racist to say, to assume this, but maybe if their helicopter gets taken down, the bird guy's going to be able to grab her and fly. Again, excuse me if that's prejudice to say against what are they, heteromorphic people, but just thinking aloud. So yeah, when it ain't a paid job, then of course it's personal. That goes for them as well, and there's plenty more than just Izuku Midoriya. They had to watch their colleagues step away from the war. So, those who remain on the battlefield chose to do so. Either that or they had no say in the matter. And we see Death Arms, so I guess Death Arms is one of the people who resigned. News outlets worldwide are reporting the fall of Japan, but I'm here to get the word out that we still have people fighting for us. This story will be told whether they claim victory or taste defeat. And then, by showing their story, and however it may end, we unify everyone and make the world, and we see the people, the numbers going up, watching Gentle, that much smaller. Wait, where's Japan again? That's where All Might's from. And we see people around the world watching. we can let them know. And we see the one, I guess, Egyptian. So again, sorry for assuming, hero that we saw before. And the I think that's Agpar as well. That this story's not over yet. And is that Death Arms in civilian clothes watching? And we see the movie characters and all too. All the different movie characters. Alright, we can let them know that the story's not over yet. And that seems like a really great place to end. Kind of got goosebumps a little bit, but that's easy for me. It happens to me all the time when I read stuff. But, yeah, incredibly good. I love these 4 chapters. I'm excited to see where things go in the future from here. There's still a lot more. Like they said, the story's not over. A lot more going on. We still have to finish out the Toga stuff that I mentioned. Still have to finish out the Kurogiri stuff. Obviously, All for One and Shigaraki. Like I said, it seems like more and more all of the characters are converging into one place so that we can have our big finale with everybody all together. So yeah, we will. And of course, that kind of makes sense thematically and all too. But either way, I'm going to go try to get this video posted when I can. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of these chapters, my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more Hero Academia, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to do a review for Season 5 and Season 6 of the anime at some point, so keep an eye out for that eventually. I'm going to watch them sometime soon. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. And if you'd like to help support the channel, you can drop a super thanks down below if you want to. Or you could become a patron at patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description. Or hit join down below to become a member. Thank you to people who are patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular, Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono and Smeller Dog, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element, Pate Ardealal. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, thank you, and I'll see you all next time.